So I took 2 weeks off from the show for the holidays because, well, it's the holidays and everyone's on break and nothing much is going on in the local sports world. Well, you would think that. Turned out we had a bunch of stuff going on. The Bradshaw Mountain Boys basketball team, they were up in Payson for the Mike Barr tournament, and they won the whole thing. Prescott girls basketball, they hosted a tournament, and they took third place. The Embry-Riddle basketball teams picked up their first wins in head-to-head GSAC competition. The latest national wrestling poll from the NAIA has Embry-Riddle ranked 5th with two of their guys, Kenneth Copley and Chino Valley's own Keller Rock, number 2 in the nation in their respective weight classes. Excuse me. But I don't know if there was a team busier over the holiday break than the Prescott boys basketball team. They took part in not one, but 2 tournaments. First, they were in California for the Damien Classic. Then they were down in the Valley for the Nike Tournament of Champions. And yeah, they wound up going 4-3 overall between those 2 tournaments. But Coach Travis Stedman told me that they went up against 4 or 5 nationally ranked teams, and that's the sort of experience that can only make them better now that they're involved in region play and, of course, looking ahead to postseason play, which begins next month. And more big doings by Tenacious T, Uriah Tennett. At the Damien Classic in that Prescott-Chatsworth game that the Badgers won in overtime, he and Elijah Arenas, the son of former NBA star Gilbert Arenas, they put on a show for the ages. Tennett put up 54 points in that game. Arenas notched 56 points, and that performance got Tennett named the Sports Illustrated National High School Player of the Week. And according to my broadcast partner on Badger football and basketball, Kelly Cordes, that is something that no Prescott athlete has ever gotten. And, well, that certainly put a lot of eyes on Tennett. A lot of stories about him circulating online, on social media. There was one site that called him Arizona's best kept secret. Well, I don't know about that, because we here in the Tri-City area, we've known about Uriah Tennett for 4 years now, and I think quite a few other people around the state have known about Uriah Tennett now for 4 years. And Tennett followed that up with a 32-point performance against Coconino Tuesday, and in a game heard right here on the news, 1490 AM and 103.5 FM, a 29-point performance against Bradshaw Mountain Thursday, where he actually got hit with a technical foul for a dunk, which, I had a wee bit of a meltdown on the air over that, because I just think that kind of call is ridiculous. Now, at first, it appeared the tech was about him hanging on the rim too long, which apparently is some kind of rule in the AIA, and I don't know if they specify how long you're allowed to hold on the rim. But talking to a reliable source the other day, what I learned is that Tennett, when he dunked, he slapped the backboard, which for some reason constitutes a technical foul, which I still say is ridiculous. And I have said this many times before on this show. Sports is entertainment. I go to a game, I want to be entertained, and I don't mind a little showmanship during the game. I equate it with going to a concert. Let's say I go see Iron Maiden, and Bruce Dickinson can just stand on stage and sing The Trooper, and that's fine, because The Trooper is an awesome song. Bruce Dickinson is an awesome singer. But when he sings The Trooper, Bruce Dickinson puts on a red coat, waves around the Union Jack flag, and runs back and forth across the stage, and it just enhances the experience. You get really hyped up for something like that. And when you're hyped, you're banging your head, you're jumping up and down, and you're singing along as we race toward the human wall that screams of pain as my comrades fall. Yeah, that was my really cruddy version of singing The Trooper. Bruce Dickinson can do it way, 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 way better than me, so I apologize for that. But thing is, it's the same in sports. The dunks, the touchdown celebrations, bat flips. Back in the day when you had relievers like Tug McGraw and the Mad Hungarian Al Hrabowski doing all their antics on the mound, it just makes the game more enjoyable, gets you more hyped up. So let the kids play, man. And my rule of thumb for stuff like this is this. Is hanging on the rim for a couple of seconds or slapping the backboard after a dunk going to affect the course of the game? No. Then leave it be. Then, of course, we have some big news beyond the Tri-City area in the sports world as the NFL playoffs are coming to Arizona. Unexpectedly coming to Arizona, the Rams-Vikings wildcard game has been moved to State Farm Stadium in Glendale for Monday night, and that's a game we will broadcast on our new sports station, the Team 1450 AM KNOT. That game, of course, being relocated because of the just horrific, apocalyptic wildfires happening in and around Los Angeles, and some of the scenes are just hard to comprehend. Just the sheer level of destruction out there. I was watching one video on YouTube that showed this one neighborhood completely in flames, and I'm thinking, this could be a city in Ukraine I'm looking at. The commentator on the video said, this is worse than any city in Ukraine. So certainly our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Los Angeles, and we do have some athletes here with Yavapai College and Embry-Riddle that are from that area or probably have friends and family in that area, so got to be hard for them going through this. And our area has also contributed to the firefighting efforts out there with Central Arizona Fire and Medical Authority sending one of its engine crews out there for structure protection duties. And at last report, 11 people have died in the wildfires, more than 10,000 structures destroyed. Let me say that again. More than 10,000 structures destroyed, which that is just mind-blowing right there. More than 36,000 acres have been burned. And when you hear the news reports of fire hydrants without water, and a pipeline project that could have provided Southern California with a lot of much-needed water being stopped because of some fish, and this part still boggles my mind. No forest thinning, no removing excess fuels from the forest, and anyone who's ever listened to our news reports knows that in our neck of the woods, this is just standard operating procedure. Forest Service goes out, they get rid of excess brush, either mechanically or with prescribed burns, and when a fire does break out, all of Prescott doesn't burn down. The leadership of California, however, doesn't want to do that, and now look what happened. Honestly, there needs to be people going to jail over this. Then you've got former ESPN anchor Keith Olbermann, who raged at people for expressing sympathy for actor James Woods for losing his home in the wildfires simply because Olbermann doesn't agree politically with Woods. Talk about messed up. Now look, quite a few celebrities have lost their homes to these fires, and those are people I probably disagree with politically, but I sure as heck ain't going to celebrate them losing their homes. Hey, I don't care if you're on the poverty line. I don't care if you're a multimillionaire, if you're a liberal or conservative or whatever. If you lose your home in these fires, that is tragic. That is a hardship, and I feel for you. You know what? They're still human beings. I just have some sympathy, man. I know I do. And I got to tell you, as Keith Olbermann, he should have just stuck with sports. I thought he actually did a good job when he anchored SportsCenter on ESPN. He may not have been my all-time favorite SportsCenter anchor, but I still thought he did a good job. But boy, did he go off the rails when he got into political commentating, and now he's turned into this miserable, hate-filled loon who can't stand people who show a little sympathy for someone in distress. Maybe you should have just stayed with ESPN and just covered sports. And you know what, Keith? If you had done that, you may not have gone completely wacky. All right, folks, 928-541-1016. Number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Again, 928-541-1016. Holiday special show here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Later on in the show, we will do our annual thing where we hear from several of our local athletes giving their New Year's resolutions. But before we get to that, on the other side of the break, we're going to be joined by Coach Jim Hall, head coach of the Chino Valley boys basketball team. He's going to talk about an incredible victory they had earlier this week against Highland Prep. We're also going to look ahead to the rest of the season for the Cougars on the other side of the break. So we will be back with more here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. Our first show of 2025, and first week of 2025 certainly was a thrilling week for the Chino Valley boys basketball team as they got an incredible victory against Highland Prep. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that game, as on the line with us right now, we have the head coach of the Chino Valley boys basketball team, and that is Jim Hall. Hey, Coach, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
So, Coach, let's go back to this game. First off, along with just a great, literal last-second victory that you guys got over Highland Prep, this was a game where you guys were trailing at one point by 14 points. So talk about how your guys were able to rally and overcome that deficit to get the deke over Highland Prep.
We just stayed calm and focused. We didn't let the runs get to us. Basketball, as you know, is a game of runs, and you kind of just got to ride that wave. And my guys kind of stepped up, hit probably 4 big threes in the last 2 minutes, and that final one just sealed it for us.
Mm. And I know going into that game, obviously it's been a bit of a struggle here the first month for Chino Valley. The wins not being there, so when a team is down by 14 points, you're not getting the wins so far in the season. I mean, what are some of the things you got to do to try to motivate your guys, saying, "Hey, just forget about all that, just concentrate on tonight's game and just go out there and keep playing hard"?
It really helps to know your guys, to get them in a huddle and just keep them level. Let them know that they still got to fight, and that 2 minutes left in the game is really an eternity in basketball. You can score a lot of points in 2 minutes.
And this wasn't the first time you played Highland Prep this season. You first faced them back on December 2nd, and that was a pretty close game there, too. 49-41 was the final score there. So did you kind of remind them of that game and saying, hey, you guys were right there with Highland Prep the first time around, so you can definitely take them here in meeting number 2?
Honestly, my seniors, Freddie Garcia and Landon Smith, our captains, kind of steered the ship themselves. I how to play basketball. I tell them what to fix, and those guys kind of just Landon's the silent leader, and Freddie talks in the huddle. So it's lead by example type deal. They just kept the guys in it with some defenses, some rebounds, and Landon Smith had 22 points in that game. So he kind of just led by example, and then hit that game winner off a play that we drew up in the huddle at 2 seconds.
Yeah, and again, that basket that Landon got, that came with, about 2 seconds left to go. I can only imagine what it was like for the guys on the floor, the guys on the bench, and well, of course, the fans over there at Chino Valley High School who saw that happen.
Oh, it was pandemonium in the game. I had to remind myself that I was head coach and not an athlete, and try to join in that celebration. I jumped around a little bit, sat down, and just appreciated watching the kids and the fans go nuts over that play.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, your next game after that was down at ALA West Foothills last night. Unfortunately, things didn't go your way in that one. Final score 102-46. But, still you got plenty of basketball coming up here. Region play getting underway. You got River Valley and Kingman coming up here. So in spite of that loss you took last night to West Foothills, what are some of the things you got to do with your guys just to regroup and get them ready for region play moving forward?
Coming up on practices, I just got to remind them that game's over. We have winnable games here coming down the stretch. You just got to get them back into it and we don't talk about that last game. We go right back into working hard in practice.
Mm-hmm. And, again, you talked about some of your guys out there. Freddie Garcia, one of your team captains. Landon Smith, who came up with that game-winning bucket. Landon Smith, Ben Seibel, who, of course, a lot of our listeners, they heard his name from football. He was Chino Valley's quarterback. Talk about how big those guys have been for you this season.
It was rough. We missed with Landon because he was injured in that first Highland Prep game we played. And he came back with a vengeance. He thought maybe that was kind of an undercutting shot he took there to get injured in Highland Prep, and he was focused. And Ben's just a energizer bunny. The kid has no chill, and he just goes as hard as he can until he can't. We sub him out, give him 2 minutes, he's back in being the energizer bunny.
Mm-hmm. And along with those guys, are there maybe one or two guys who you might consider the unsung heroes for Chino Valley here in the first half of the season?
We have a good core of seniors starting. Jackson Hawks, he adds that 3-point threat to spread the floor. You can't leave him to double team, otherwise he's ready to catch and put that thing in. And our sophomore point guard, it's hard for teams to stay in front of him. Angel Sanchez, he just works, being the only sophomore, the underclassmen starting, the rest are seniors, and he goes to work, plays hard defense, and gets the ball through pressure.
Mm. And again, as you move forward into region play, what are going to be some of the keys here to again try to right the ship after a bit of a struggle here in the first half of the season? What are going to be some of the keys to try to right the ship and put together a really good region season?
These kids, it's I'm here to teach and give experience on what I know about the game of basketball, and they gotta bring it out there and put it into use and not forget what we're here for.
Okay. And as you look ahead to the region, you got ALA West Foothills again. That's actually going to be coming up next month. But who do you think are going to be some of the other teams you expect to see some really, really stiff competition from here in region play?
Our last two games of the season, that ALA West Foothills game, and then Yuma Catholic. Yuma Catholic's a giant in the 3A play, so that's going to be a stiff ending to the season. We're going to have to show up and show the hometown what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then actually you're going to be on the road quite a bit here toward the end of January. Just looking at the schedule, you're going to have a 4-game road swing coming up. You're going to be at Wickenburg. You're going to be at Tonopah Valley. And man, oh man, you got back-to-back trips to Kingman, going to Kingman Academy and then Kingman High School. So, what are going to be some of the things you got to do in order to make sure you guys don't get too tuckered out there after all that traveling?
I just going to have to let them rest. You're going to have to schedule the timing right for guys in so that they're not exhausted, and then practice, and then the next we go to Kingman again. You're right, and it's something we're working on, John.
Yeah, because I think looking at your schedule here, it's like January 27th, Kingman Academy, January 29th at Kingman, again at Kingman Academy, January 31st versus River Valley, thankfully at Chino Valley, and then February, the next day, February 1st, you're
Parker,
at Parker. Yeah. So
Parker.
boy, oh boy, I don't know who put that schedule together for you, Coach, but that is definitely going to be a bit of a rough stretch there.
Yeah, we're not happy with it, but we got to do what we got to do.
Okay. And hopefully you can do what you do, and Chino Valley can put together a really good second half of the season. And, of course, KYCA will be here to cover everything that you guys are doing, just like we're here to cover everything all the local teams are doing. Well, Coach Jim Hall from the Chino Valley boys basketball team, I want to thank you very much for joining us here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup this morning. Hey, best of luck to you and the Cougars the rest of the way.
All right. Thank you, John.
All right. Again, Jim Hall, he is the head coach of the Chino Valley boys basketball team. And, of course, a lot of talk about that great 59-58 win the Cougars got over Highland Prep on Tuesday. Landon Smith with the game-winning bucket, just 2 seconds left to go in regulation. That's going to be a game that I definitely have to put on our candidate list for top 10 local games of the year. All right, folks, coming up to a break here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup, but before we go to break, yes, our first 3 Stars of the Week segment here for 2025. So let's see who shined over the past 7 days. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Ella Schott of the Embry-Riddle basketball team. She netted 16 points in the Lady Eagles' 72-40 rout of Life Pacific last Saturday. The number 2 star is Kenzie Blanchard of the Prescott soccer team. She had the only goal in the game on a 20-yard free kick in the Lady Badgers' 1-0 victory over Campo Verde. By the way, last season's 5A state runners-up. That game took place on Tuesday. And our number 1 star of the week is Addie Prisciandero of the Prescott basketball team. She posted 25 points in the Lady Badgers' 60-54 victory over Ironwood Ridge last Friday. Now for the guys, our number 3 star is Luis Aviles of the Chino Valley wrestling team. He was the champion in his weight class at the Mile High Challenge last Saturday. The number 2 star is Preston Raniker of the Bradshaw Mountain boys basketball team. He notched 32 points in the Bears' 63-60 loss to Sunny Slope. Later in the day, Raniker put up 24 points in Bradshaw's 76-71 victory over Walden Grove. And our number 1 star of the week is Uriah Tennett of the Prescott basketball team. He registered 31 points in the Badgers' 74-65 loss to Mesa last Friday. Then on Tuesday, Tennett tallied 32 points in the Badgers' 75-44 win over Coconino. And he was also named the Sports Illustrated National High School Player of the Week. Congratulations to all our 3 stars of the week. Break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. And when we come back, it is our annual segment here on the show. We ask local athletes what their New Year's resolutions are. So we will have that for you again on the other side of this break. We will be back with more right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. And, well, as always here on Tri-City Sports Roundup at this time of year, one of our favorite segments that we like to do is go around, ask local athletes what their New Year's resolutions are for, well, the new year, in this case 2025. So again, I went around, got a whole bunch of local athletes, compiled their answers, and we've got them for you here. So let's get to that segment right now.
This is Adam Lloyd, a football player, safety, linebacker, running back, and a wrestler of Prescott High School. And my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to win a state championship in wrestling.
This is Addie Cristiandero, shooting guard of the Prescott girls basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to get my schoolwork done earlier.
This is Alana Gilray of the Prescott High School flag football team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to spend more time with my family.
This is Bella Att from the Prescott girls varsity basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to make sure I'm staying on top of all my schoolwork and keeping good grades while maintaining sports.
This is Carlos Villarreal with the Bradshaw Mountain Wrestling Team, 138-pounder. And my New Year's resolution for 2025 is I just want to reflect more on what I do and just be accountable for the actions that I do. And I just want to be a better person and just spread love and positivity towards everyone around me.
Hello, this is Christian Wells. I'm a shooting guard for the Embry-Riddle's men's basketball team. And my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to make my bed every day.
This is Kolei Fondulevich, guard of the Prescott High School basketball team. And my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to win region and also state.
This is Damari Hackett. I'm a center for Embry-Riddle men's basketball team. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to get a job for 2025.
This is Emma Johnson, the point guard of Bradshaw Mountain basketball varsity team, and my New Year's resolution is to get better grades.
This is Johan Gunderman. I play wide receiver at Prescott High School football team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to get a 4.0 GPA.
This is Katie McAlena, an outside back for the Prescott High School girls soccer team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to be able to bench a plate.
Hello, my name is Danilo Kojicic. I'm playing for Yaupai men's basketball team, and my resolution for 2025 is to finish the season strong and do my best with my schoolwork.
This is Kylie Harms, and I play center mid of the Bradshaw Mountain girls soccer team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to start going to the gym more.
This is Lily Anderson of the Embry-Riddle softball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to help my team win a GSAC championship.
This is Marie Rodriguez, and I play center mid of the Bradshaw Mountain High School soccer girls team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to start running more.
This is Mason Brambilla, power forward of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to stop eating so much fast food.
This is Mirari Perez Hernandez, and my weight class is 114 of the Bradshaw Mountain High School wrestling team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to get better at wrestling.
This is Preston Raniker of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to make every free throw.
This is Riley Schroeder, a center back of the Prescott High School girls soccer team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to not drink any more soda.
This is Titus Womble, and I play center back of the Bradshaw Mountain High School varsity soccer team. And my New Year's resolution for 2025 is that we'll make it all the way through playoffs and we'll win state this year.
This is Uriah Tanette, point guard of the Prescott High School basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to win a state championship.
This is Zakira King, the center of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University on the women's basketball team, and my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to get straight A's for my last semester.
All right, folks, and there you have it, and thank you very much to all those athletes who took time out to give their New Year's resolutions. Always fun listening to that, and probably some of you out there asking, okay, John, well, we heard from the athletes, so what's your New Year's resolution for 2025? And for many, many years, I sort of adopted the philosophy of my father, who said, my New Year's resolution is not to make any New Year's resolutions. Well, I've kind of deviated from that path, and, well, I'm just going to give you the same New Year's resolution that I've given the last, 8, 9, 10 years or so. And my New Year's resolution is to sell more books this year than I did last year. And it looks like I might be on my way to doing that, considering the way my new novel, Unthinkable, my alternate World War II history novel, is going right now. And some of you out there are saying, that's it, Sean, just sell more books. What about making your New Year's resolution to exercise more? I'm like, well, I do exercise. I walk a lot. And actually a lot of people say walking is really, really good form of exercise. Or you could say, well, what about eating better? And for the most part, I actually do eat very well. I think make sure to get food and juices with a lot of vitamins and not a lot of sugar. I stay away. I very, 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 very rarely will eat fast food or fried food. I do have my cheat days every now and then, which I think you have to do. But like I said, for the most part, stay away from junk food, cut down on sugar. I already do all those things. So I got the exercise and the eating better covered part there. So I can now focus on selling more books. And another New Year's resolution that I hope will come to pass involves Yavapai College. And, of course, a lot is being made over the fact that Yavapai doing away with athletic scholarships, which, talking to a few people out there from what I gather, Yavapai College, that'll be the only college, at least among the schools that Yavapai does play, where athletic scholarships have been eliminated and the teams pretty much have to get all their funding through fundraising, which I think can work for high schools. I don't think that can really work for a college. I think you still have to financially support them, at least to one extent or another. But, we do have some new blood on the Yavapai College governing board, and hopefully that new blood will encourage them to revisit this policy, this elimination of scholarships, and hopefully they can do a 180 there and start giving scholarships back again. I think that would definitely go a long way to helping the college and their teams be more competitive. Because, like I said, if you're not offering scholarships, well, how are you going to be able to compete to the other schools out there that are offering scholarships and are going to be able to attract the better athletes out there? And again, I kind of hate saying that because I don't want to disparage the athletes that are already at Yavapai, because there are some pretty good athletes over there, and some of those athletes have gone on to play well at other schools. You got Kashaya Anderson. She's I can't remember the name of the school she's at right now, but I believe it's a school out in the Carolinas where she's doing very well at. Ray Glasgow from the men's basketball team, he got picked up by Tennessee Tech, and he's doing very well there. Emma Alvarez, Prescott High School grad, she was playing for Park University, did very well for them. So again, Yavapai can still getting some good athletes in there, but get some scholarship money in there, and then they can attract even more really, really good athletes, and they'll be able to compete with those schools who do have those scholarships. And I think there are a lot of people out there who would probably think that it's like, look, it's athletics. That money that they're giving to scholarships could be spent elsewhere on non-athletic stuff, on other school programs. Like, well, first of all, Yavapai was funding scholarships for years and years, and they were still able to fund all the other, say, non-athletic stuff going on over at Yavapai. So I'm sorry, this isn't like a zero-sum gain to me. Also, the other thing that you have to consider here for people who may think sports is an unnecessary part of college, sports is actually one of probably the most visible part of any college. Maybe a lot of people might not be too aware of, say, Ohio State, if it wasn't for all the stuff, say, their football team and basketball team have done. So that's going to put your name out there, especially Yavapai, like back in the day when they were competing for national tournaments, national championships. They put their name out there on a national stage. Basically, it's like athletics is almost free publicity for your college. Not only that, but it's not like you're getting in athletes who only care about athletics and only care about winning. We've done plenty of stories about this in the past where you have the vast majority of Yavapai College athletes get on the Yavapai College athletic director's honor roll, and those are athletes who have a 3.0 GPA or better, and many of those athletes also achieve 4.0 GPAs. So you're not just getting athletes at the school, you're getting really good student athletes there, and also student athletes who aren't just at Yavapai, but they're also contributing to the community. They do a lot of charitable work in the community. I remember a few years ago talking to former volleyball coach Zach Shaver, who I think I was going over there to get some holiday segment interviews with some of his players. And he's like, yeah, meet us in such and such a room because my players are going to be wrapping Christmas presents for underprivileged kids in the community. And I believe the women's soccer team has also done that in the past too. So again, you're getting athletes in here who are going to contribute to your community, which again kind of gets me back to my point where one of the reasons I believe why they did away with the athletic scholarships is because some of the higher ups there around Yavapai weren't really happy that we were bringing in athletes from out of state, even out of the country. But again, if you're bringing in quality students, quality people who are just going to enhance not just the college, but the surrounding community, then so what if they're not from Arizona, or so what if they're not from the Tri-City area? They're getting a good experience here. And that's the other thing, because, Yavapai, especially the volleyball team, especially the soccer teams, they've had foreign students come in here. Again, some people are like, well, why are we having these foreign students come in? They could be taking spots away from people in the Tri-City area or in Arizona, which honestly, I really don't think that's the case. It's like you want to bring in the best athletes you can and make sure they get a good education. And if they're from the Tri-City area, great. If they're from the state, great. And if they're from outside of the country, again, great. Because here's the thing. You get these foreign students coming in here. What it does is to me, I look at it from a cultural perspective, from a life experience perspective. It gives those students, those foreign students, the chance to experience life in the U.S., or at least life in a part of the U.S. And unfortunately, there's a lot of media elements out there that paint the U.S. as like this most horrible country in the world. But then you get these foreign students coming in. They look around, they say, hey, you know what? United States really isn't a bad place, and the people I'm hanging around with are actually pretty good, and the community I'm in, the people here are pretty good. The community is really nice. Like, this is really a nice place here. It's like, I don't know why people are bashing it so much. So then they can go back to their home country, talk to their family, talk to their friends, and say, hey, I got to play sports in the U.S. for 2, 3, 4 years, and, it was a really great experience, and the U.S. is a really great country, and most of the people there are really, really cool. So again, it's a great life, and it's not just a great life experience for those foreign students, but also the homegrown students, because one of the things that, maybe people would be thinking is like, oh, who cares about, athletics? Education is the most important thing going to college. It's like, well, here's the thing. Not all learning takes place in the classroom. Because if you're involved in sports, you can get good life lessons there about overcoming adversity. Let's face it, through the course of any game, athletes, teams, they're going to get knocked down, but then they got to pick themselves back up, get knocked down again, pick themselves back up. So those are some good life lessons there. Also, you make strong bonds with other kids on the team. And I think the really big thing is when you're in college, you're around people from different parts of the country, from different backgrounds, from different socioeconomic stratas. So you're going to have to learn to work with a diverse group of people in order to achieve a common goal. And that's the kind of lesson that will carry over very, very well in life once you're done with college and once you're done with sports. Basically, sports is a great place to get some good, valuable life experiences. Like I said, all learning does not take place in the classroom. In fact, probably some of the more important learning you're going to do in college can take place outside of a classroom, and that's where sports comes in. So hopefully this new blood on the board can revisit this policy and start reinstating scholarships, and also start encouraging more of the higher-ups out there to really, really support athletics at Yavapai College and kind of get Yavapai College athletics back to where we saw them like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, where we are talking about their teams going on to national tournaments and hope, and even in some cases winning those national tournaments. That's what I like to see. And who knows? Maybe the community can kind of light a fire there. It's like, hey, you got phones, you got emails, social media. Send a message to some of the board members and just say, hey, can you revisit this scholarship policy that you have? So hopefully that's a resolution that Yavapai College can have for the new year. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our show today. Hey, go over to the team, 1450 AM KNOT tomorrow and Sunday. We've got a slew of NFL playoff games for you. Also on Monday night here at KYCA, more Prescott High School boys basketball as they take on ALA Queen Creek at 7 p.m. So a bunch of sports coming up for you here on KYCA and on the team, 1450 AM for you to enjoy. Coming up next, Healthline with Dr. Hancock at 9. Drive Time AZ at 10. Eye on Prescott at 11 for our slate of local talk shows. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining us here for our first show of 2025, and we will be back next week. Have yourselves a good one.